Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be doing something a bit different today. Given the upcoming U.S. election, we're going to be talking about who I'm going to vote for. So, as you're likely aware, there's a presidential election coming up in the U.S. on this Tuesday. Instead of our normal video this week, I wanted to take the opportunity to discuss with you who I'm voting for and why, as well as encourage all Americans to go out and vote if you haven't already. Doing videos like this is not good business sense because it always loses me subscribers. But I would encourage you, even if you disagree with me, to watch to the end of the video and then feel free to leave whatever comments you're going to leave. So, around previous elections, we've discussed all sorts of philosophical issues, ranging from Arrow's incompleteness theorem, why third parties break democracy, Downs' paradox, why you should vote even if your vote won't be decisive, and how skeptics can vote despite not having any beliefs. Today, we're going to do something slightly different. I'm going to take off my philosopher's hat and speak from my perspective as someone who has served the federal government, both at home and abroad, for over a decade. So, one of the most important decisions that a president makes is not a particular policy, but rather the politicals that they appoint to be in charge of every agency. I've worked personally with Senate-confirmed politicals appointed by Obama, Trump, and Biden. In fact, I will be meeting with one tomorrow. As much as all of the partisans out there would love for me to say that one particular party does a great job of appointing especially competent politicals and the other one does a horrible job, this has not been my experience. For the most part, with certainly some exceptions, politicals of both parties are inexperienced products of nepotism, cronyism, and corruption, whose only qualifications are a relationship to those in power. They're propped up by career staff that actually understand the government and can make them appear competent. If politicals were the only people running the government, it would be even less efficient and less effective than it is now. This used to be a lot worse. In the early 1800s, the U.S. government operated on what's called the spoils system, where taxpayer money was used to give jobs to the biggest supporters of the incoming administration to keep them happy and to keep them supporting the administration in future elections. To keep their posts, these appointees didn't really need to fulfill the functions of government, but rather just needed to continue to provide support for that administration, whether that was monetary support or support in the form of bringing a constituency in. In 1883, the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act was passed to create a merit-based hiring and firing process for the federal government, so that government employees would be incentivized to actually perform their duties instead of just providing support to the party leader. The merit-based civil service has since expanded, since it is much more effective at providing services to people and preventing corruption than the spoils system. While there are still some positions at the top of many agencies that are appointed directly by the administration, and there is still a certain degree of nepotism and cronyism present for those positions, which I observe on a daily basis, it is much smaller than it was before and does not prevent the work of government from getting done. Think of it this way. Would you rather live in a society where the jobs were determined by how hard you worked or who you were related to? Do you want to live in a place that is meritocratic or corrupt? This puts us back to the election. There's one policy that is being pushed that would expand the ranks of political appointees by tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, and would bring back the old spoils system, where government workers don't actually have to do their jobs, they simply must be from the right party. It would bring more incompetent political appointees into the federal government, wasting taxpayer dollars on effectively kickbacks for the supporters of whoever wins the White House. It is called Schedule F. Trump attempted this in his first term, but did it too late for it actually to be executed on. This policy would deepen the dysfunction in the federal government and waste billions of taxpayer dollars paying what are essentially bribes to the top donors by giving them jobs while removing the people who actually have the expertise to do the work of government, including, potentially, myself. It is for this reason I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris on Tuesday, and I hope that all Americans watching will do so as well. I've had issues with many of the decisions that the Biden administration has made. but they have not tried to break the fundamental cornerstones of American democracy, which protect us from corruption and preserve the rule of law. Trump did when he was in office, and he will again. I wanted to focus on this single issue that's personal to me because it matters for whether I can continue doing my job, and it matters for the work of the country and the government that I care about. But there are many other reasons that people are supporting Harris, including to fight the rise of Christian nationalism that is attempting to exterminate skeptics like myself, the fact that Trump is a convicted felon, the fact that Trump lost over 2 million jobs in his last administration, the fact Trump has dispensed with any philosophical foundations of conservatism or republicanism in favor of autocratic imperialism. Check out my video on, or my series on whether politicians practice what they preach for more on those differences. The fact that Trump's appointees abolished the right to abortion, the fact that Trump stoked an insurrection to overturn the results of the last election and encouraged the murder of his own vice president to do it, and many more. Trump has said you won't need to vote anymore after he's elected. Vote now. It may be the last chance you get. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.